All right, so this is something I've noticed that as people get their first client, they would sign them up, set everything up, and then they would disappear and hope the client doesn't cancel. If that sounds like you and you're familiar with that, this is probably the reason why. Hey, my name is Paul Kim, and in this channel, I talk about getting clients with high level and most importantly, getting clarity before we implement AI and automation. All right, so in today's video, I want to talk about something that I think is very important when you first get your first handful of clients. All right, so here's the problem that I see majority of time when you get your first client. You set up the snapshot if you have one, right? And you build the automations and you basically connect everything. And then you deliver to the client and then you stop communicating. You're unsure what to do next, right? And then pretty much you're waiting, right? Instead of leading. So here's what's happening is that you're hoping that they don't cancel, that they will see the value on their own, and then ultimately that they don't cancel. So what's happening is that you're not managing the client. You are, in essence, avoiding the client. All right, so here's the truth of the matter. It isn't a high level problem. It is a clarity issue, right? And the three things that wasn't clearly defined is number one, what you sold to them, right? Sold the client. And number two, what happens next? Number three, what does success look like or what is the outcome? So the typical behavior is you build, you hide, and you hope, right? So what we want to change is from let's build it and leave it to let me guide or let me lead the client through this process. Instead of thinking about setup, let's look at it from this three simple structure or framework that you can implement within the first 30 days. All right. And so the first one is, which can be, you take care of it. The first step is the first maybe a couple of days, 1 to 2 days. Immediately think about the problem and figure out what are you actually fixing. Meaning, look at the leads that are broken, what's broken, and try to fix that. The second part, which could be the first week and the second week leading up to the second week, is implement the one core system that is actually going to fix the problem. So what we're talking about is just that one thing that's going to move the needle for that business. So it could be as simple as installing reviews, a system. It could be as simple as setting up a missed call text back. Whatever it is, it's just that one system, right? And then the third step, this can be implemented week 2 to 3 to 4, and so we're trying to do this within 30 days, right? And so the third step is to show progress, meaning communicate to the client what's happening, show the small wins, reinforce or explain the next steps. All right, so this is basically my framework, local in action. So if you have not watched that video, I'll put the link above goes into detail exactly what the local framework is. I'll put that in the description as well, right? So local, which the L, right? Your local visibility and opt-in and conversation. The one step that you're implementing is going to implement or execute one of those items, right? So before the automation. So basically, what you're trying to do is you're not trying to impress the client. What you're trying to do is you're trying to move that one problem forward and you're trying to solve that one problem. All right, so let's go over a scenario. Let's say that you have a client that wants more leads, and you go ahead and set up a funnel, you set up the workflow, and then you go quiet. So what's actually happening is that client doesn't know what you're doing. there's no visible progress. And so what happens is that there's a drop in the trust level. So what could possibly have happened, or what should have happened possibly, is that you identified that they have missed calls, right? Let's assume. And you've implement missed call text back. And so there were 12 missed calls, and then you have 12 missed call text backs that happen. And so those are visible results outcome. So as a result, that helps create retention, and so that the client is not going to cancel. All right, so if you already signed up a client, here's what I would do immediately. I would reset expectations. I would go ahead and get in touch with the client and explain to them, here's what we're going to do next. Here's what success looks like this month. All right, so I would go ahead and do that immediately. All right, so what that does is that it builds clarity between you and the client, and that's going to create confidence in you. Once you're clear on the problem, HighLevel becomes very simple to use, but the tool only works once you're clear on the direction. And if you're in this stage, I know this next video will be helpful. This is where I talk about how to diagnose a business before you even touch HighLevel. Go check it out.